we set up a meeting. He comes down to my gym in San Diego, and I had some offers to option the book into a movie, and they were all kind of, they didn't seem very serious about it. They didn't seem to really get it. Well, Ben came down and he clearly understood. He had kids that had been impacted by the book, and he understood and saw the vision for it. And he'd made some really big movies. He made a movie called Yes Day, which was one of the biggest movies on Netflix in 2020 or 2021. And so he's coming off kind of a really good reputation. And he came down and said, look, I see this, I see the vision. Let me make this into a movie. And I said, great. So we partnered. The next thing you need to do is you need to have a screenplay. And he said, next thing we need a screenplay. And I said, cool, I'll write the screenplay. I'm a writer. And he said, you don't write screenplays. And I said, yeah, but I'm a writer.
Yeah.
Come on, I've written, New York Times best-selling books and whatever the case may be. And, he said, look, it's just different.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I was humble enough to say, okay, you know what? This is a medium I'm not familiar with. Let's
What convinced you of that?
I think just recognizing that there's things that you don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
And I'm looking at something that I haven't done before. And even in talking to him, I could see that there's things that I wasn't thinking of that a movie writer would think of. I could see
right.
it. I could see the way he was talking to me, that there was things that I just didn't quite understand yet.
Yeah, it's a tricky issue, because likely you could learn, but the question is, how long would that take? How much failure would be involved? What would be the opportunity cost, right? And then there's the issue of pride that you also already brought up. It's, you learn after a while that a new endeavor has all sort of pitfalls you couldn't possibly imagine, right? And those are the things you have to learn the hard way, right? So even though it'd be fun to learn to write a screenplay, obviously.
Yeah, and so I have since learned and written one, which is a whole nother story.
Oh yeah.
So we end up, we get pitched, a couple people pitch us on writing the screenplay, and we finally land on a guy named Will Staples, whose dad was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. When I heard that, I was like, all right, this must be my guy. And this was right before the Hollywood writer's strike. Again, there's all this Hollywood stuff going on. There's a Hollywood writer's strike. So we hire him to write the screenplay. And the screenplays cost a lot of money. And so Ben said, okay, I want to put together a group of investors to pay for the screenplay. Mm-hmm.